On today's episode of the DeRaud-Messinger Show, Dylan and I are rating the defensive front for the Longhorns. Texas fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. And check us out at HornSports.com for all the latest in Texas news. Now, Dylan, we're talking about the EA Sports college football video game ratings. I was about to say NCAA, but Dylan, name change. It's got me tripped up already. But the ratings for the defensive front for Texas, of course, defensively, Dylan, this was a strong suit of this team last year. However, a lot of new faces blended with some of the younger guys that are now stepping up in terms of roles. Let's just start with Ethan Burke. Dylan, probably one of the surprising players for Texas defensively last season in a good way. However, next season's going to have to be building on getting to the quarterback and bringing him down. He had plenty of pressures, but the next step in his game, of course, is to tally those sacks. Dylan, I'm going to 88 in terms of a rating. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I had exactly that as well. Just with his ability to set the edge was very impressive last year. But like you said, still room to grow when it comes to actually the sack numbers and not just the pressures, right? So expect him to kind of be a likely candidate to move up as the year goes along. But I think that 88, Devon, like that's exactly where you would have somebody where you feel like they could have a big season, but at the beginning, they're not your premier, edge rusher at the current moment.
Now, next, Dylan, I think you might disagree with me just where I'm going with this. Alfred Collins, I'm giving a 90 overall. He was overshadowed, of course, by T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy last year, and rightfully so. Those two were amazing for the Longhorns. However, Collins, I was talking about guys growing into their role. He's been there for a while, and you expect him to be one of the top D linemen in the country. But yet again, Dylan, he needs to produce. He's getting the snap counts. He's getting the playing time. This 90 is a little more of a foreshadowing, maybe necessarily than what necessarily has been on the field in the past. I'd typically give him probably a high 80, but I'm going to go 90 here. How do you feel?
Yeah, and that's the tough part because I don't know with how EA is projecting it that they've done their homework in that regard, just because you don't have the career numbers that you would have from like T'Vondre Sweat, right? Like, or Byron Murphy, right? So with Alfred Collins, I would, since he hasn't shown his stuff necessarily yet, Devin, I'd be going around the 87, 86 route just because, like you said, there's still meat on the bone to get those numbers. So he's a likely breakout candidate with Ethan Burke. But I feel like you've seen more of Burke out on the field at times, making an impact in the past.
Dylan, I love the analogies, but I don't know if there's any meat on the bone with a D lineman. I mean, there's
Uh,
no meat on the bone. Just
Probably the worst analogy I could have used on that one.
just
Yeah,
just bone for this group.
you got me.
Jokes aside, next we got from the edge. We're just going the top four for this group overall. So next we got Trey Moore, the transfer from
Yeah.
UTSA. Of course, last season put up pretty big numbers for those Roadrunners. This is a hard one too for EA to rate out, as Dylan was talking about Collins, and just in terms of the production. Now you have the production, but it's going to the SEC level from UTSA. I'm going 90. I think a 90 grade is pretty fair. One of the highest sack talliers last season. Dylan, are you aligned there?
I've got 89. Maybe I'm pinching pennies, really, with a 90 versus an 89. But I just feel like they're not going to be throwing around 90s around very much. And 89 with a guy coming from UTSA, like you said, going into the SEC, there's still some stuff to prove. I think he'll be able to handle it just with his age and experience and just his overall skill set. But again, through the eyes of I don't know, would this be the committee, Devin, the EA Sports Committee?
It's a committee of some kind.
We'll just call him a committee. I would just have him at 89.
That's fair. Now, Dylan, unless you want to name any other names here, I'm going to go our final name of this D line front. On the other edge, we got plenty of them. Baron Sorrell. Now, this is someone, Dylan, that prior to last year had a big jump in productivity. Last season, kind of similar to Burke, just struggled to get the quarterback to the ground, was still getting pressures, but ratings, especially for this position group, is so predicated on the sack just numbers. So I got for Sorrell, I got an 86. Do you agree, disagree? You're gonna fight me again in penny pinch. What are you feeling?
Yeah, Devin. Honestly, I've got an 85 too, just kind of
There
as the
you go.
preset. But yeah, I think you're correct in the 85 to 86 range. Again, we're sitting right there for each other. It really just comes down to where they started off at the beginning of the season based off their stats in the past, and then what areas they can grow in. And again, he can definitely grow in the sack totals, so possibly expect that to go up. But right now, I would be having that 85. Just giving the stuff, Devin. Talking a lot of stuff.
And more than our stuff, as Dylan is saying, what do you think about the ratings for the D line? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great rest of your day.